Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Debate Hub. I am Chesh, your master debater, and I am here with Sam, and today we're going to talk about self-publishing and the nightmare creature that can be when it wants to be. Sam, how are you? Who are you? This is technically your first time here.
Uh, yeah, I suppose it is, isn't it? I just when was I on your other show? It was like that can't be 2 years
A
ago.
year, 2 years ago? It's been a while.
Jesus.
It was back when Dungeons and Dragons Wizards of the Coast was making very, very poor business decisions.
That would have had to have been 2 years ago.
2023?
Yeah, yeah. I,
Oh,
I
it's.
remember. I remember that was the whole OGL shit.
Yep.
Oh God,
Yeah.
time flies. Uh, when time moves. Yeah, I'm doing good.
Good. That's
I'm
good to
I'm
hear.
doing okay. Um, yeah. I'm ready to debate and perhaps even hub. So
Hell
exciting.
yeah.
Yeah,
so we're here to talk about self-publishing. So the first thing we should probably tell people is you have a book that you have put out.
I do.
He does. It is linked in the
I do.
description. It is also linked in the pinned comment if you want to check it out. And it is called the Not So Shitty Compendium. Now, you had been
Yes.
working on and compiling all these quote unquote shitty ideas for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, really, the thing that sort of allowed this book to even coalesce is the fact that I didn't plan for it to be a book. I just was posting these ideas as like, engagement or whatever on back when Twitter was available. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, like someone just said you should put all these in a book. And I was like, I've got like 3,000 of these things lying around. I might as well just pack them into a book.
3,000, and you haven't stopped. You still write them. They're just posted on
I
Blue Sky now.
I took a break for a year, and I'm kind of rehashing the greats at the moment on Blue Sky. So if you go over there, you'll get to kind of relive the journey from like 2021, but a simpler time. But yeah,
Simpler time.
I did a lot of these ideas, and then I just decided to just toss them in a book, and I did, and it was much more of a process than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's
Um,
yeah. And
yeah.
you started with like you did a Kickstarter, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I This would not have happened had it not been for the funding that Kickstarter, you know, allowed me to receive.
Enabled
So that
you.
was
Enabled your bad
enabled
habits
me.
and your terrible ideas.
Yes, exactly. My addiction is publishing books. Um, no, the Kickstarter was pretty much necessary because I really I wanted a way to reach a lot of people with it.
Mm,
I had benefited because when I was back on Twitter, I had a reasonably large audience,
yes.
and I was like, hey, I could probably leverage this to sell these schmucks a book, even though they've seen all these ideas before. um, but no,
A
everyone
classic
was really
way of
sweet and
scamming
supportive.
people for lots of money,
Oh, you
grifting
know
off
me,
of really
scamming
niche
people.
books.
Yeah, that's I've always been a con artist actually. Um, that's been my calling. Um,
So why'd you leave
no,
Twitter? I'm kidding.
I know. I would have fit right in.
You would have
Yeah,
gotten.
shitty coin coming to a crypto blockchain near you. I for what?
Obligatory. Cryptocurrency
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
scam.
Plug my scammy crypto. Um, yeah. I honestly, it was great to see a lot of community support for it. I felt super
Mm.
blessed to have people crawl all over the woodwork to be like, because I should I just go through the process of Kickstarter in general, or
Yeah, yeah. If you
uh,
want to start with, if you want to talk about like, why did you pick Kickstarter to publish your book, and did you find it more a
yeah,
benefit that you chose it, or would you, if you were to do it again, would you pick something else?
you know, with crowdfunding stuff, it helps a lot because setting those goals is a real sort of marketing incentive.
Hmm.
Especially when, like, for what I did for the book is I set the goal of like I think it was 4.5K, which
Mhm.
essentially would break me even with the person who's helping me with my publishing and my artist,
Yeah.
right? So that would not have made me any money had I just reached that goal on its own. But I knew that I'd probably get past that, right?
Right.
And if you set those goals sort of small and early, you can reach them quickly. So you can say, oh, funded in 6 hours. You can
Yeah.
slap that stamp on your Kickstarter, and it incentivizes people to put more money into it because you're like, oh, yeah, we have a bunch of extra rewards we're going to give you. So it's sort of, I mean, as unfortunate as it is, a lot of crowdfunding is sort of marketing gamification of numbers. You know,
Yes.
you really
Yeah.
want those nice big round numbers,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah. So it's all these little milestones that you set for them. But before you even can get there, it's deciding which platform you want. Uh,
Yes.
there's a difference between like, oh, it's Kickstarter, and I think the other one's Indiegogo. I
Yeah.
think that's considered. And I believe, if I remember correctly, because I did this like 3 years ago, um, Indiegogo, you get the money even if you fund like kind of halfway ish. Kickstarter, you don't. It has to
Right.
fund completely, which I think makes Kickstarter feel a bit more reputable. I don't really
I
know
could see that.
why that. I don't really know why people tend to choose Kickstarter over Indiegogo. It could just be the Kleenex to tissues of crowdfunding sites that isn't GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I picked Kickstarter because there's kind of an element of prestige. Most other indie tabletop projects are run through there. Like, I mean, you have
It's known by the
what is it?
community. It's not
It's
like
done by
it's
the community, right?
recognizable. The branding is there.
Exactly. I
You
mean,
have
you
to
have
be
like
when
what is
you're
it?
giving, you can be less concerned about whether or not if it doesn't make it that you're going to
It's a
get your
scam.
money back. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think Legends of Avantris made like it was some absurd figure. I don't even quote me on it because I don't know, but it was I think past 7 figures. It's absurd, but
That's
you
nuts.
can really get some money off Kickstarter. Tax season is a nightmare. Filing taxes on this was fucking awful.
Well, you're
But
American, right?
I'm American. I'm
Yeah.
American. So if you have to file, I think it's a 1099 MISC, you have to file as an independent contractor, the government will cut you at the fucking shins. It
Oh
is
boy.
awful. So if you do a Kickstarter, set aside a chunk of it because Uncle Sam will take his piece.
You may want to
Um,
consider that in your total calculations.
yes, absolutely. If you are not getting taxed on it right now, you will be getting taxed on it eventually. So don't be surprised when it because I made 12.5 grand. Like
Putting it together. Yeah.
I always get profit or not, whichever one is kind of the big one. Um, I should know this. I'm in marketing. And yeah, so 12.5 grand. I had to pay off a bunch of people, so I ended up earning about six. Right
Right.
out of that six, 1.5 went to taxes. So it's like it's a pretty sizable chunk. So that is
Yeah.
something you should definitely prepare for if you are, American.
Today is when
Um,
we find out that Sam got taxed more for his one book than Elon Musk did for the entirety of Tesla.
well, sure. I don't engage in just complete corporate lobbyism and shit. So I can't pay anyone off. Um,
Fair.
so yeah, that's sort of the gist. But if you want to start down this path, I will say
Mm,
it is more work than you expect it will be. Even if you have skill in one place, it's unlikely you can cover all of your bases. If you could draw, holy shit, you are in such a better position than most people. Try to avoid AI. If avoiding AI images is
yeah.
is kind of crucial because when you use AI, it sort of tells an audience that you are making a product that is cheap,
Yeah.
right? If you can't afford to spring for an actual artist,
Yeah.
or I mean, hey, get better at drawing. Um, it says a lot about your product. And I mean, even if you're drawing it and your art's bad, that could just be your style. That could
Sometimes
just be
that's
part of
part
the
of the
fun.
selling point. Yeah. It's
Right.
unique.
Like
It's yeah.
there's like a Flash game called like West of Loathing where everything's like a stick character, right?
Yes,
That's
yes.
the entire style. That's the whole gimmick. And you just run with it. It's all about these days. It's all about personal brand.
Yeah.
So as long as you're able to sort of figure it out, then you're good.
Yeah, absolutely. There are
Um,
lots of ways around things, but you got to make sure you're operating within your spec, I guess.
yes, absolutely. Discover what your strengths are and pay
Mhm.
people to cover your weaknesses. Um, yeah, I worked with a guy, Gunmetal Draws, on I think most platforms. Great artist. He did all of the artwork for the book. Like, oh my god, it had to be upwards of like 100 images. Like, so much art in that book, and it's a process. Like, things will like the more people you add to a project, the more likely someone is going to have an accident or an emergency. So you just have to be communicative about that. Um, Not only within your group that you are kind of working to make the book with, or whatever it is you're publishing, but also with the people who, if you've crowdfunded it, have put their money towards it. Like,
Yeah.
if you are not communicating with that base of people, they will get justifiably angry at you, and that is not
Right.
a position you want to be in if you ever want to make another book.
Yes.
Um, so, yeah, I didn't know what I was doing for Kickstarter really at all. I know I did the process, but I knew what I wanted to write. I had it all together. I had a little Excel thing where I just sort of took all the shitty ideas and put them in one place so I could kind of spit them out. OGL sanctioned, mind you. None of this Xanathar's Guide stuff. No, we can't be cool.
We're not
But
allowed to have any fun here.
no, and if you use the OGL, make sure you copy that shit in there directly because they will get angry about it on DM's Guild. Um, you gotta be real anal about that kind of stuff because they will be more anal about it than you, and then you'll get fucked in the ass. Um, so
Fair.
yeah, it's it's a process. But I hired what was his tag? I think Realm Warp was what he goes by on platforms. He helped me a lot with the publishing process, which was really great. Like how to set up the Kickstarter, how
Mhm.
to get in contact with the people on DM's Guild, how to get my books printing. That was a
Right.
nightmare.
Yeah, how to be
That took
printed.
forever. Yeah,
You have to pick the type of
I
paper, the size of the font,
yes, that's a
margins on the
process.
sides, the layout.
Well, not just margins. There's a concept in printing called bleed. So
Mhm.
when you lay stuff out in usually InDesign, I mean, or whatever you pirate, I don't care. As long as it gets
Yar
on the page.
har fiddly dee.
Yar, yar. Um, but bleed is super important because that is sort of where the page cuts off when they print it. There are
Right.
standard margins that you have to use. You can look them up, they're online. Those resources are readily available for you. You just have to keep those in mind because if you don't, you will keep getting rejected when you submit this kind of stuff. And it is, let me tell you, extremely frustrating. Like,
Oh.
for months I could not get this shit right and no one would help me.
Oh
So just
no.
you just have to be careful with it.
That sounds terrible.
Um yeah, it felt like I was hitting myself in the head with a hammer over and over again expecting something different. But yeah, that process was awful. Um
Then you had to go and figure out who was going to publish it, right?
well, yeah. So publishing is interesting. I sort of knew from the get go I wanted Drive Through RPG just sort of due to the fact that you know, it's a recognizable name, right? You
Yeah.
know, Drive Through RPG for all of your sort of indie tabletop stuff. What they don't tell you about Drive Through RPG is they take 65% of your cut. So be prepared for that money to get slashed too. So on top of the money you make net from the Kickstarter, the amount that gets taxed from Uncle Sam, the stuff you actually get from Drive Through RPG on sales, and then the stuff that gets taxed on Drive Through RPG, if you make over $650, you're making 15 to 30%, I'd say. Maybe, if
Oh.
that. Yeah.
60% is a huge cut. That is
Yeah.
massive.
If I'm pretty sure that number's right. I could check. I could check right now, honestly.
If you want, go
Uh,
for it.
you know what? I'll bring up the webpage. Why not?
I'll
Drive
use
through
this
RPG.
time to tell everybody, make sure you like and share the stream. We're trying to get to 500 followers. We can do it. Thanks.
You should
Oh,
do it.
and Debate Pub is coming on Saturday. So if you like
Ooh.
newsy type politics and drinking alcohol and whatever beverages you alcohol is not required. If you want to have milk, have milk. If you want to have alcohol. There's no pressure. At least one person will probably not be drinking because money doesn't drink. But
Amen.
join us on Saturday. It'll be a good time.
Hell yeah. Where? Oh dear God. Also, another thing to know about Drive Through RPG's site, it is old. It is really old. So you have to.
Gotta go dig
It's
in.
like all these built-in forms and shit. And it's like,
Oh
dude,
man, like
come
back when the internet
on.
was cool.
Yeah, in like this, it feels like it's from like '07. Yeah. So let me do some quick math. Uh,
As somebody who
uh
played around as a child on a Windows 98.
yeah. I mean, '07, I would have been 6.
Yeah,
So many moons. Am I insane?
maybe
Okay, so it's 50%. I'm
50%. That's
crazy.
still
I don't know where
huge.
I don't know where I got 65 from. Apologies for my misinformation. So you can kill me. But
Hang
yeah,
him!
it's still a sizable chunk. Um, so
No,
yeah, that
50%
could
is
be a
still
little
large enough to
frustrating.
be a little bit outraged.
Yeah.
A little bit. I mean,
Plus to
they've got their stuff they
establish
gotta pay for. They gotta run their domain. They gotta
for
like get
rights, yeah, there's
yeah
a lot of stuff to upkeep. I get it.
reasonable.
I'm not angry about it. If you really want to make all the money you possibly can, use your own website. You know, you set up like a Shopify type thing. That'll get less feet in the door, but you'll get to keep all of the money. So
Gotta
yeah,
sacrifice.
obviously there's upkeep, but it really is just who you want to be paying money to.
Well, I believe your book is
But
available in physical copy and PDF, right?
it is, yeah. So it's print on demand. That's how we have it
Mm.
set up through Drive Through RPG. So it takes a while for people to get the books. It's not like I printed 100,000 of them and I have just been waiting to get these things flying off the shelves. No, it's just you want a book, you tell the printer, and they'll ship it to you. So that part's pretty. It's much easier on you if you're a smaller scale publisher. You just want to get like a one book out.
Yeah.
That is so much easier. Um, but
You even
yeah,
sound a little bit tired talking about it. Like, do you
it's
still
taken me
feel
back.
tired? Yeah, do you still feel a
Taking me
little bit
back.
of that?
Yeah. You know, I do feel tired when I think about it,
It's
but at the
okay.
same time, thinking about that first, like, I think I funded in like 45 minutes. I want to say,
It's pretty impressive.
is
That
that
must
was
have
it
been a
that quick?
rush.
No, it could have been that quick.
It was
It
fast.
was under it was under 4 hours, I think. But like I that was exhilarating. Like that was crazy. That's a huge thing. If you have a Kickstarter, you need to get people to like I think it's called subscribing to it. I can't even remember. It's been years, but when you send someone out like a month in advance, like, hey, our Kickstarter starting, they can like subscribe to it and they'll get an email blast when it actually goes online so that you can get funded as fast as possible. You need to take advantage of this because if you do not, you will be lingering forever and ever and ever because Kickstarter is like any social media platform in that it has an algorithm. So
Right.
if you aren't gunning this shit out of the gate, you are going to get left behind, which is an unfortunate reality. You can, pay for advertising for your Kickstarter, obviously, if you have that kind of money. It certainly could help, if you're willing to spend it on the front end. It just depends on how fervently you're going to be advertising this product and for how long, right? I mean,
Right.
I don't really advertise the book too much anymore, like if it comes up, I'll be like, yeah, sure. Check out my book. It's only
Right.
$7.50. I cut the price in half because I want people to buy it.
Right.
Um, so I just kind of did it to prove to myself that I could. But if you
Sure.
if you really want to like consistently have a library of stuff on a publisher, um, you don't have to do a Kickstarter. If you can source your own art, if you can use stuff like there are plenty of tools online that you can use to make free stuff. Like Home Brewery is a Home
Yes.
Brewery
Yep.
is a pretty cool site. They do the classic D&D format. There are some I think they're kind of general like images you can use on Pixabay if you want. You can do your own drawings, what have you,
I
that you
think it
can
would
use to
be
just sort of compile stuff.
I think it'd be really funny if somebody made like a TTRPG styled book, but all of the pictures on the inside were like those stock photos that you see at like a business meeting.
That would be great.
It'd
I
be
would be
very
very into
funny.
that. But yeah, one thing about Drive Through RPG as well,
Hmm.
if you're getting set up on there, you need to have some products in there before you can submit something you want that is paid.
Oh,
There's,
okay.
I think, last I checked, that might have changed, or I could be crazy. It's been like 4 years, so you should
Right.
put something for free out there. It could be a subclass, it could be a one monster stat block. Like it doesn't need to be anything crazy, but as long as you can get the website to be like, yeah, we approve you, you're not doing anything weird or like racist or anything,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
good.
yeah.
uh
Don't be
that,
racist. If you've learned
don't be
anything
don't be
today,
racist. Yeah,
be
don't
racist.
be racist.
It's bad for your image. It's bad for
It
marketing.
is bad for your image, maybe not on Twitter, but
Well, you
on
know,
Blue Sky.
there's
Yeah,
like a degree of racist that you're allowed to be on Twitter that it's still
people
beneficial.
will dial. Yeah.
Turn that shit down.
Yeah, so that's the long and short of it. I can't really think of anything else I have off the top of mind.
Would you do it again?
Oh Jesus! I listen. I work a 9 to 5 now. I
Fuck
I
no.
have I have no time, and I have other projects that I do. So
Mhm.
it's like
Not tomorrow.
like would I do it again? Maybe. I don't have the time, and
Mhm. Do you have something you even
yeah,
want to publish right now? Would I think be the more of the question. If you don't have something you're interested in publishing, then yeah, you're not gonna have time to.
I have a project I can't really talk about at the moment because it's extremely long term, but it won't be through
Mm-hmm.
D&D. It won't be through tabletop. It'll be
That's
its own
fine. This
thing.
is Debate
But
Hub. We're allowed to talk about anything.
oh, thank God, the chains are gone.
You're free.
What? I'm free. But hey, once that's finished and out, I can talk to you all about actual publishing process. So
Mm.
yeah, little hint there. But yeah, yeah. So you know, it's
So you're
really
thinking
at
like
the end of the
not in
day,
the short term, but maybe in the long term.
give it a year or two,
Oh,
and I
that's
can be
that's
back on
closer
here.
than I thought. That's way closer than I was thinking when you said long term.
Give it a year or two. Yeah, I've
All
already been
right, all
working on
right.
this project for a year and a half, so
Oh, so you're telling me
I've
you're gonna
been
come back?
I can come back. Absolutely. Always a pleasure to be on. Whatever format this show takes. But yeah.
Wherever it goes next, who knows?
Yeah. Whatever bridge Chesh is hiding under at the moment. But yeah.
You'll follow me across the Billy Goat's gruff, motherfucker. Let's go.
Yeah, man.
My unfinished sock said, "Don't be racist. Like and share the stream instead." Fight racism by sharing the definitely not Pornhub coded channel.
Hey, I mean, what's
Spreading
wrong with
love.
porn is cooler than racism. At least porn's inclusive.
Right, right.
Yeah. I thought my unfinished sock, I thought you were like knitting a sock that said that. I'm like, that's skillful actually. That's
Maybe they
crazy.
are. Maybe my unfinished sock. Are you also currently currently knitting a sock that is unfinished? Because you
That
should.
would be sick.
If you weren't, you need to
Like
start.
like some like sexy thigh highs that have that entire message on like the front of
Don't be racist like in sub instead.
them. Well, what does sub mean in that context? That was just the question. Now we're Pornhub.
Now we're
Welcome.
Pornhub again.
Hit the other jingle. Yeah.
Got different kinds of buttons here.
Hmm.
Oh goodness, it is lovely having you on. So right now you're active on Blue Sky, and you
I am.
are sort of putting out like your a greatest hits album.
Yeah. I'm like, I think it was Billy Joel who will like at a concert. He's like, "You want to hear any of my new music?" And people will cheer, and he's like, "No, the fuck you don't. Here's Piano Man." Like, I feel like I'm in that stage of my career where I've done thousands of these fucking things. So I downloaded my Twitter archive before that got nuked, and I
Right.
just am like, "All right, well, these are funny.
Round
I
2,
guess I'll put
Electric
'em up."
Boogaloo.
Yeah. What I like about that process especially is that it gives me time
Mhm.
to kind of like think about new material that isn't that format because I've done it for
Right.
4 years. So
Yeah.
it's like
It gives
I
you a little bit of space to sort of refresh and bring new ideas and formats in, but still having
yeah.
like some like fun stuff on the side that you can throw out there if you want to.
Y- Yeah, it lets me be a bit more personal. It lets me promote other projects that are,
I've seen
not
you doing a little
tabletop
bit more
related.
asking question discussions, right? Like if you're a DM in
Yes.
this case, what would you do? If you're doing this, then in this case, in that case, what would you do, etc., etc.
Yeah, I mean, cynically, it's great engagement, but not so cynically. This is a new community that I like, I know a lot of the people here, but at the same time, there are a lot of new faces that I have not previously seen.
Absolutely.
So it's good to kind of get people's opinions, gauge them, and block them if they're jackasses. So it's
getting a
just a
getting a
process.
vibe check of everybody.
Oh yeah, you
And
just
yet,
easy
here I sit, unblocked currently, so far.
unblock. You are on thin fucking ice, Jess. Watch your ass.
As I live my life on the edge.
Yeah. To learn
So,
more about edging, go to Pornhub.com.
thanks for coming to Debate Hub, everybody. Oh, good God.
Oh
It's just
man.
gonna be your next book is gonna be it's gonna be the shitty character ideas again, but it's the rated 18A version.
But with sex dice.
With sex
Uh
dice.
the Kama Shitra.
Oh,
A compendium. Yeah, exactly.
that's wonderful. 10 out of 10.
Thank you.
Oh God. I lost my train of thought.
My bad.
How dare you? Who's the one on thin ice now?
I mean, I'm laying down. I'm spreading my weight across this thing. It's gonna take more than that. Oh
So,
man.
so what do you think? So you have like a long-term project that's a couple years, and right now you're
Yeah.
basically just vibe checking Blue Sky to see
Yeah.
like how they're feeling, who you want to get along with, meeting some new people, and then deciding how you're gonna scam them with your new project in 2 years.
Oh, naturally. I mean, come on. The grift is constant. I'm always thinking about new ways to take people's money and give them nothing in return. Shitty ideas? What are you talking about? Most of these are tropes, you guys. Come on, it's been 4 years.
A lot of them are good ideas too.
We don't
Shitty
talk
means
about
whatever I want
that.
it to mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Grift my
Yeah,
ass.
put that in your philosophy chat. Do words have
Semantics?
meanings?
Listen,
Semantics?
no,
Semantics?
that's actually on the list. So we've been talking
Oh,
about
okay.
identity. We already talked about identity and about whether or not that matters. So semantics
Okay.
and what words mean and if those meanings are intrinsic or not is going to be a whole conversation because all of us hate semantics unless you're actually having a discussion about the semantic.
That makes sense. Okay,
Right?
I
Isn't
took
that
me a second,
wacky?
but okay,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
makes sense.
It's like, listen,
Okay.
arguing stupid semantic points and just like deciding that like these are different words, but we agree these meanings both exist. Let's move the discussion on. And not moving the discussion on is annoying. Deciding which of these definitions works better in what context, that's a conversation.
Yeah.
You have to think about all of that shit if you decide you want to publish a book.
You do, actually. You have to really you have to apply some like very stable philosophy if you're reading the Shitty Compendium.
And before
Um,
Sam shows up as a guest on the philosophy show.
I have no philosophy. I'm unchained.
Congratulations, welcome to the show.
Damn it! No! Let me out.
He just said, I'm busy. I have so much to do. I don't have time for anything. Meanwhile, I'm over here just like lassoing this motherfucker.
Yeah, actually, to return to publishing,
Yes.
real quick.
By all means, direct us back on the topic.
I mean this to be completely sincere for a minute.
Uh-oh.
If you are planning to publish a book or to publish any sort of thing within this space and you're worried it will fail, do it anyways. Literally just send it. Because when you publish a book like this, or you publish a little snippet or whatever, or even if it's just like kind of world building salad that you could put on Drive Through RPG and nobody buys it, it doesn't matter. Right? Of course, money would be great. Don't get me wrong. I barely sell this book anymore. But at the same time, I'm grateful for the process because it's taught me a lot about patience. It's taught me a lot about really how to apply myself in a sort of more professional aspect before I entered the workforce. It kind of has given me a drive to sort of apply to my other hobbies. I mean, I released an album, like I didn't think I would ever do that. And then, you just gotta commit to shit.
Are
in this day and age,
suggesting that sometimes failing
failing is
isn't
good.
the important part? It's the process that you went through to get there that matters? It's the friends we made along the way?
It's the friends we made along the way. Don't have me on that philosophy tube. I no failure, success. At the end of the day, it's like whatever.
It's just semantics.
You're building yourself. It's just whoa.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, I mean, just throw shit against the wall till it sticks. Because something will. Trust me, something will eventually stick. It might not be the piece of shit you thought it would be. Might have some corn in it, but it's gonna land eventually.
People identify with
you
corn.
Gotta believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
maybe it's all corn.
Successful band.
Maybe it's all corn.
Maybe it's all corn. Listen, one of those things that I like to go by, and you can tell me if you agree with this or not. I like to go by this idea when it comes to like operating online, especially in the online space. And I think it applies outside too, but I think it's very like potent and kind of distilled online. And it's that you can tell what the internet's not going to like, but you can never tell the internet what it will like.
Yes.
So like the internet will absolutely hate very specific things. Like if you brutalize a cat, the internet will hate you forever and they will ruin your life and you will deserve it. However, if you're just making something, you never know what the internet is going to be like that thing. We've adopted you now.
No, exactly. I mean, if you look at like the indie gaming space, like you can't tell. If you are trying to success model off of things and how they work, you are going to be a month too late. That's just how fast the industry moves these days.
Yeah.
So success modeling shouldn't be, oh, I should write zombie books because it's 2012. Hey, don't do that. Zombie books are not in right now. But what made these books work? It's not about the zombies or even the genre, because anyone can pump out slop at an alarming rate, especially with the tools available to us these days. If you want to make something you're proud of, you need to do it for you, and you need to do it from the action of making it. And if you're very lucky, people will love it and they'll latch onto it because it's genuine.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, a recent example of this, I think, is Balaltro, right?
Oh,
roguelike deck builder based on poker.
It's just cards.
Brilliant fucking idea.
So
Brilliant
smart.
concept.
Yeah.
So simple, so clean, so
Undertale was like
smart.
that as well. Five Nights at
Yeah.
Freddy's, same thing. A lot of indie stuff comes from works of passion and authenticity that you do not get with AAA gaming for the most part.
No, exactly. You just have to fucking do it.
Yeah.
You can't in this day and age where shit feels like it's constantly balanced on the edge of toppling into whatever void the media presents us with, you
Hmm.
just have to commit because there may not be a tomorrow to commit to, right? Just fucking go for it, man. I used to not do it. I used to be scared as hell. I used to be content. Don't be content. Stop being content with your shit. Start being angry and do art for you because it's the most fulfilling thing imaginable. I can't think of anything better.
I think that is a fantastic portion to end on. We will move, if you are live with us and you are catching this early enough, we're going to move into our Q&A session where we've got a couple of questions from chat. If chat does have questions for me, please tag me to make sure that I see them, just in case I do not. And this has been Sam. Sam, where should people find you?
You used to be able to find me on Twitter at role playing. I'm not really there anymore. Any post I do post on there is telling you to go to Blue Sky. So I'm I'm at Blue Sky at my name Sam Comerford. I got in there pretty early, so
It's on
snagged that bad
screen.
boy. It's on screen. That's my name. I'm also on YouTube. You can find my music on there, as wild as that is for me to say. I'm on Spotify. Anywhere music is available should be there. I make instrumental, soundtracky type shit, Trenton Reznor, Atticus Ross style stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I also made a short film, and I do music for movies these days. So I have a lot of hats.
Chat
Um,
chat noticed the same thing I did. Can we end this on your very best Shia LaBeouf just do it impression?
sure, I might peak the audio, but we can try. Yeah. I mean, are we doing it at the end of the episode or doing it like right
No,
now?
no, do it right now, and then like that way the
All
people
right.
that are watching it later can catch it.
Okay. Just do it. I see the square I'm trapped in. I can't get the full wingspan.